Hey everybody. So okay, I think I may be live. Give me just a second here. Sorry, this is normally I'm live on Facebook. So this is my first time on YouTube, and I think I have the orientation wrong. So we're gonna give it a sec just because I am not seeing myself live here. All right, so guys, we're just going to give it a minute. I am so sorry. Next time I will know what I'm doing when I'm going live. This is totally a test. Let's see here. Yep, still not. So guys, if anybody pops on, because I did do an event for this, just say, hey, where you're watching from. And we're going to see if this works. I'm still not showing any lives here. Let's see here. So guys, I am not showing I'm live. Oh, wait, I might have just popped up. Only nothing's playing. Oh, perfect. There we go. All right, so hopefully the event and the notifications worked. Okay, so hopefully the event and the notifications worked for this. I don't think they did, just because I don't have any of my normal Facebook people on. So we're gonna give it a sec. We're just gonna go ahead and get started. I will post the link on my Facebook page. Guys, if you haven't seen me before, I know it took a while to get to this point. I'm Stacey. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacey, and I'm an elite Dixie Belle retailer here in Ardmore, Alabama at the Rustic Willow, also in Huntsville, Alabama at University Pickers, and then I'm also a Redesign with Prima retailer here in Ardmore, and you can find all the products I'm using tonight as well on my website, which is newcreationsbystacey.com. So you guys, I'm just in the mood for a fun, quick little project, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to go live here on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Guys, tonight I'm going to pop you guys down. You guys, oh, I'm so glad, Dolores, you're the only one here, I think. So, hey guys, like I said, if you're watching, just say, hey, where you're watching from. If you watch on replay, hashtag replay, please. Okay, perfect. So, hey, Aubrey. All right, so we do have some people showing up. I don't know if my Facebook event worked or not, but here we are. Guys, so we are going to do a quick little fun decoupage project, and I'm going to pop you guys down. So just to let you know here, I've got some molds out, and I'll talk about these in just a minute. We're actually going to paint them, and hopefully we can pretty much just complete this project tonight. This is a super easy project, guys. It's a great, awesome, if anybody's thinking about Christmas gifts already, awesome Christmas gift. I think I'm going to keep this one where I'm going to make another one. Hold on. I want to get you guys at a better angle so you can really see what's going on here. All right, there we go. So, guys, this is a little metal piece that I thrifted. I got 2 of these. It does have the hangers already on the back. Had a bunch of little holes in it, so I needed to fill it in with Dixie mud. And then also this is it's metal. So I want to paint this. I want to decoupage over it. So I did go ahead and prime it with 2 coats of Bonding Boss. And Bonding Boss is just basically like an all-in-one primer. It's going to cover you. Mostly I do furniture, guys, if you haven't seen me before. I've got tons of videos on here. This is just my first live. But Bonding Boss, it's going to cover you for like any slick surfaces. It's going to allow the paint to stick to it. So metal, glass, plastic, anything like that, you can paint it all. And then also, if you're painting wood or something like that, it's going to cover you for blocking the tannins from the bleed through in wood, as well as like if you have an odor like cigarettes, something like that, it's actually going to block the smell. It's going to kind of seal it and take care of that, particularly cigarette smoke. That's a huge one. All right, guys, so like I said, this is my first time live on YouTube, so I see some comments coming through, but I was hoping to be able to pull them up on here, but I can't do that. So, to find drawing ideas. Oh, well, thanks, Aubrey. We're painting tonight, but thank you for joining. Hey, Kimberly. All right, so that is how I prep this. Of course, I did clean it with White Lightning. First step, TSP base solution, designed specifically for pre-paint. So guys, on this, the first thing we're going to do, because I am going to be decoupaging this paper on, first thing that we are going to do is, no matter what color the color of your paper, you always want a light, you always want a light color under your decoupage paper, so that your colors will be true to the actual paper itself. If I would use a dark color, or even say I wanted to match the blue on the sapphire wings, I am so sorry. I've got another project going with sapphire wings. This is Blue Song. We're going to be using Blue Song decoupage paper tonight. It's redesigned by Prima, and it's an A1 fiber paper. But before that, we are going to do our coat of paint under our decoupage. So we're going to be using Gardenia here. And frankly, I just pretty much pick any light color I can find. It's no big deal. And we're going to go ahead, and this doesn't have to be an amazing paint job or anything like that. All you want to do is kind of pop it on here. It doesn't have to be good. It can be textured. It doesn't matter. We just want to put a paint base down so that, there we go. So that our decoupage paper will be true to color. Now, I could put this, and I do it frequently, I will decoupage right over the primer. But in this case, my primer is not the only thing on here because I covered up all these little holes. You guys notice I'm not even putting this paint on in the same direction. It does not matter. We just want to get a quick coat on here. Guys, this is chalk paint, so it's going to dry super, super fast. So while we are painting our molds, hey guys, so I was actually anticipating for the first time that I went live on here, I was figuring I was going to have my usual Facebook crowd who I haven't seen on here. So do you guys want to, let me know, do you guys want to pour a mold? Do you want to see the molds poured? I poured them ahead of time, but I can always do a quick pour, and then we can go through and paint. All right, guys, I'm not even going to bother painting the edges. I could have wrapped my decoupage paper around the edges, but I'm just going to paint those in. I cut it to size. So we're going to go ahead and leave this here. Now, I've got my brush here, and I don't want to... Guys, I am so unprepared tonight. It took me a good while to go live. That's why I was late. I didn't even think I was going to make it on. I was having some issues with it. So I just, we're talking a really long time, probably like 30 minutes before I could actually get live on here. But I think I know why that happened. So the next time, I'll be live regularly on Facebook, guys, Friday nights at 5. So, or I may do Mondays. I'm just starting these lives, like I said, on YouTube, so I'm not really sure. All right, so all I did was mist my paintbrush down, and I just sealed it into a Ziploc bag so that it doesn't dry out, and I can wash it later after the live. So we're gonna let this dry. I'm gonna bring you guys over, and we are gonna go ahead and prepare the magnets that we're gonna make. I'm going to take a look at the comments too to see if you want to pour some resin molds. But We're going to go ahead and paint up our magnets and our letters that we're going to be putting on here. So really quick. Hey, Steve. Yep. Well, I'm not monetized on, well, I am monetized on Facebook. I'm not monetized on YouTube yet. Facebook started deleting the lives, so that's why, you know, they only last 30 days now. So now I've got to build up my YouTube page. So please subscribe, guys. Please, please, please. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Dolores. I know, I don't know what I'm doing either. Hey, Denise. Oh, I'm so glad you made it. Oh, trust me, I was late, Denise, and I didn't know what I was doing either. So we're there together. All right, so I'm not seeing anybody say they want to go ahead and pour the resin molds. Oh, Aubrey said she's getting ready to start an art career. And, oh, Aubrey, you could message me if you want to. I actually paint canvas as well. I'm typically a furniture painter, but anyway, and you can, by the way, guys, you can see all my work on Facebook, just New Creations by Stacey. I should have put that in the link. But anyway, guys, I've just got a little paper plate on here. I've poured my molds. I've got 3 little crosses that we are going to make into magnets. And also, I want to see how these magnets are, because I think I'm going to make some Christmas magnets. I feel like that's a super cute idea for just Christmas gifts, like little small Christmas gifts. Nothing huge, nothing like that. All right, guys, so for this, we're going to be using umber for our first coat. If you know me, guys, you know that I love to layer, get that depth and dimension going. So we're going to be using umber, and umber is an all-in-one paint. It's called Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint. It's an all-in-one paint, and all we're going to do here is put a base coat on all of these little pieces here. And what we're doing by adding this base coat is we're just starting to create, these aren't going to be brown, guys. We're just starting to create some depth and dimension here. And you'll see that once we start highlighting them and do a little dry brush, because it won't take long either. I'm just dabbing the paint in so I can get it into all the cracks and crevices here. You guys, ideally, I should have gotten like you can get a toothpick out to hold these in place. You can use another paintbrush. I don't really care about paint on my fingers. This is a VOC-free paint, so we don't have like harmful chemicals or whatever in here. And when I say this is an all-in-one paint, it has a primer built in, but it's not a bonding primer. It is a primer to block odors and bleed through. So I did still have to go ahead and prime my board. I don't have to prime my resin. The paint sticks just fine to that. But it also, of course, the paint color, and then it has a built-in protectant. So since I'm using this as my first coat to build the depth, I'm not going to have to protect these before moving on to my next steps. If you are using something like a clay paint, which you have to protect a clay paint, otherwise it will reactivate with water. That is not the case with the all-in-one paint, or even chalk paint for that matter. Chalk paint, definitely I would recommend a protectant, but it is not 100% necessary. The reason I recommend it is because chalk paint is very porous, so if you spill something on it, it's difficult to clean off. But it's not required because it will fully harden and cure, and it will not reactivate with water after 21 to 30 days. So that's just a little bit of information as I'm finishing painting these up. And guys, once I get these last ones done, our board should be dry enough and we'll be able to go ahead and decoupage on the, excuse me, we'll be able to go ahead and decoupage on the Blue Song bird paper. Denise, did you see the Blue Song paper or did you come after? It is so pretty. I kept saying Sapphire Wings, which is the one we decoupaged with on Facebook just the other day. There we go. And you know what? I can do more of these at once. Might as well. I'm not even going to lie. I've thought about, and I might try this at some point, especially with these little letters as I start to use them more. And guys, these little letters, these are actually from IOD, which I do not carry, but I really like these little letters. There is an IOD retailer at University Pickers, so I picked it up there locally. And then the crosses, I do carry those, and the cross mold is by Redesign with Prima here. And all I did, they actually can make ornaments. There's quite a few larger crosses, but I wanted some of these small ones to create the magnets with. I just kind of want this to be a memo board in my kitchen. Like I said, if you guys want to see a resin mold pour, I can definitely do that and make a larger cross here as well. All right. So we've got this paint on. This paint also, it's water-based, dries very quickly. Oh, guys, I got the best paintbrush washer today. Well, I used it for the first time today. All right. Actually, I'm just going to spray this down. I don't want to take the time to... So, again, if you want to make your paintbrushes last, you just mist them down with a little bit of water. Can drop them into the bag. And I'm going to spin you guys back around so we can get to our decoupage project. Dun-dun-dun. Here we go. Pop you down there. You guys, I thought that I was going to be able to go in live in landscape mode on here. But it is actually requiring me to use this portrait mode, so I kind of have a smaller little viewing area here. Oh, you're so sweet, Dolores. Thank you. I wish I could see comments on my other device over here. I was hoping I was going to be able to. All right, so guys, this isn't 100% dry here yet. So we're gonna give it another minute, and I'm gonna go through. I'm so fascinated to be live here on YouTube. I don't know why that's so amazing, but it is. Oh, hey, Jennifer. Oh, I'm so glad you made it over too. Did any notifications go out for the event? I know Jennifer and Denise, you probably would have seen it. Oh, hey, Elena, I'm so glad you made it too. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for being over here with me. I was actually kind of nervous. I thought I was going to be the only one on the live tonight. And it took me a long time to even figure out how to get live. Hey, Connor. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's see. But I've seen you from the beginning. Oh, perfect. You know, I think it's a little delayed because it took 2 minutes for me to actually show up live on my other device here, and it's way behind. It's like, so this is what I'm doing right now on the video. I don't know if you guys can see that or where we're at, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. All right, perfect. I know, you know what? That petrifies me, Jennifer, that people can watch me on the TV. I never like to know that. I don't want to be on a 50-inch screen. But I pulled myself up and watched it before too. You had to change your notification too, Dolores? Yeah, I don't exactly know what I'm doing. Just bear with me over the next couple weeks and I'll figure it out. All right, guys. So I feel like I'm so happy to see you guys tonight, though. All right, I feel like it's not super dry, but it's should be dry enough for us to go ahead and decoupage on it. So I'm just gonna grab a brush over here, because I forgot to get one out for the paint. And guys, I'm just using an oval medium. This is one of my good synthetic brushes, which isn't great with the decoupage gel, but it is water-based, so you can wash it out with soap and water. I would not use probably one of my brand new brushes. My brushes generally go through a cycle. These are, in my opinion, and everybody feels differently, but these are the best brushes to me. They are a little bit pricey, but they last forever. I think my oldest one now is probably 5 or 6 years old. And I take mine through a cycle. I usually start off by using it as a brush, a protectant brush, and then I use it for paint, and then it goes down to like priming, and then to stuff like this. Not always though. So tonight we're going to be using Decoupage gel, and this is a matte finish. It does also come in shine, but I'm going to go ahead and stir this up right quick. You guys, this is also, in my opinion, the best decoupage medium that I have used. Tried a lot of different things, lots and lots. And I always call myself decoupage challenged. But let me set this over here. I feel like I am not decoupage challenged. I would be if I went back to using some of the other options that I've tried. But I have really good luck with this decoupage gel. It's nice and thick, but I don't have any issues with the paper ripping or like needing to overwork it or anything like that. So definitely my #1 choice is the decoupage gel to use as my decoupage medium. And of course, I just have a piece of saran wrap here that I'm going to lightly ball up. And we are going to... You guys, is it weird that just because I'm on YouTube, I feel nervous to be live? I've been doing lives for years on Facebook. And I feel like, oh. All right. So we're going to start off just by putting a little decoupage gel. Well, not a little. I like to be liberal with the decoupage gel. If this was paint, that would absolutely be too much. But I'm just going to put a streak across the top here. I want to go in smaller sections so that, oops. I want to go in smaller sections. By the way, this paper is reversible. If you guys want to see, this is Blue Song here, but it is reversible, so I could have this little birdie here looking either way. I want to smooth that out. I don't want my paper to get in there. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and line up the very top. I'm going to go a little bit over my top. I could have wrapped it around, but I just decided to paint that in. And I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this out. I just used my hands there, but let's go ahead and... All right, I just want to make sure it's laying straight. I don't want to be... It's not exactly straight, but I mean, it's not going to matter for the picture. The main thing is that I want to make sure that my whole front is covered so I don't have to paint any in on the front. So now that we've got that top line done, I'm just going to flip up my paper and we're going to add a little more of that decoupage gel. And you guys, honestly, with this area that I'm covering right here, I could go in larger sections, but usually on larger furniture, that is when I like to really go in smaller sections here. But I'm just smoothing it out to make sure I don't get any wrinkles. Just want to make sure that it's adhering well in all areas, no bubbles, and then it's laying smoothly. I do like to go from the middle and kind of go out. That is just a personal preference though, and I find that when I do that, that I have less air bubbles. It lays better for me. See, just want to make sure we push all those out. And I'm just pulling my paper back up. I had a little wrinkle over there, but I just pulled my paper back up a little bit, relayed it, straightened it out. And I just want to make sure that all of those are gone. There we go. And then we just got to adhere this last little section down here. And again, I do use my decoupage gel very, very liberally. Because I just needed a fun, I don't know what everybody else is working on, but I've got a lot of commissions going, and I just needed a fun little kind of gap project, I guess, to something that I wanted to do. I wanted to keep it easy, but I've got a half a bedside table left to strip. I had a little wrinkle there, so I just pulled my paper back up slightly. And I've got my saran wrap laid down, and I'm just very, very, make sure that there are no wrinkles. I'm going to bring you in and show you guys a close-up. Everything looks good. I am not going to wrap my paper. Usually I cut it to size. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and sand the edges. I wasn't quite 100% prepared because I spent so long figuring out how to get live here. All right, so I'm going to bring you guys in. I'm just making sure that all my edges are nice and secure. Sometimes it's easy to miss a spot on the edge, but it's looking good. So now that this is down, we're just going to go ahead and go over the top. You guys, and this decoupage gel, it is water. I don't use quite as much when I get to the top just because I want it to spread out and be nice and smooth and not so streaky. But this decoupage gel is waterproof, so that's another awesome feature here. Whoops, that was quite a bit. So I just kind of spread that out going down. And you can use your brush. I don't have any wrinkles in this, but if I did, let's say I have a little air bubble or something like this, I could use my brush in some cases, kind of like a little tool. And by the way, I'm feathering very lightly over this at the end. I want to make sure it's nice and smooth, and I'm going to go all the way to the end. So once I get it all spread out, and I've got to take a look from the side, I'm actually going over it very light, barely just tipping the tips of my bristles touching there. We just got this bottom part. All right. Okay, so we're just gonna, this dries pretty quickly as well. I've got a little, I don't know, decoupage booger or something there. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna hold this up so you guys can see it. And let me get everything put away. And then we're going to go ahead and just finish up our letters over here. And I may not glue them on right now. I'd like this to dry up a little bit more, but I'll place them on here so you can kind of see how they're gonna look. I also want to paint the back of my crosses for the magnets, which I didn't do while we were looking at this. So the decoupage brushes, it's kind of very gluey. So I do actually like to wash those immediately. But since I'm not in a position to do that, I'm just gonna spray it down. And guys, a lot of times I keep like a bucket of water too. That's another thing I do so that I don't have to wash my brushes immediately. Hold on just a second here. Just want to clean up the floor. So let me hold this up so you guys can see. It's a perfect decoupage here. No wrinkles or anything like that. Look at that blue. Is that not gorgeous, guys? So pretty. And it's got some very faint, almost like a stencil. It's very subtle. I don't know. You know me, guys. I'm over the top generally. I've got a stencil out. I thought about doing a raised stencil after the fact with some sea spray, guys. This is so pretty. This is called Regal Striae, but that's the design here. And this is a redesign with Prima decoupage paper. I do have this available on the website too, but I was kind of thinking of maybe like a raised stencil coming in. I kind of want to match the color though and see how everything else looks first. Let me go ahead and, guys, I'm just curious. Can you guys see other people's comments on here? It's at the beginning, and they aren't nearly as good as the Dixie Belle brushes. Yeah, especially when you're blending. Like, I feel like almost everyone that I have worked with blending, they all start off wanting to use different brushes. The Dixie Belle brushes are amazing, and that mini brings the colors together so differently than even another cheaper synthetic brush. But if you wanted a super cheap synthetic brush, I would say that probably the best, cheapest one, in my opinion, is like Purdy. And they're still kind of pricey. I mean, to me, the Dixie Belle ones are well worth it, but everybody has different opinions, and that's okay. Oh, can you, Denise? Okay, and thanks, Jen. You can too. Okay, perfect. I don't know how this stuff works, guys. I didn't even know YouTube had lives before this whole thing happened with Facebook. Yeah, guys, don't tell me if you're watching on the big screen, please. You know, I'm a little bit blind, so when I look in this little phone, I feel like, you know, my wrinkles are kind of covered. Who knows what anyway, I'm going to let that go. All right, guys, so we've got the bird done here, and let's move over. You know, normally I am going to tell you, normally I would put 2 coats on these molds. But in the interest of getting this done on the live, I still feel like it's going to need 2 coats. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to pull out one, and we're going to work one all the way through. And that way you can see what it looks like. And then I will go back and fix it later. But this way, like if you're tuning in, you don't watch me regularly, you can make your own home decor project. All you need is a metal sheet. And I'm telling you, if you go to the thrift store, they are going to be so cheap. You just prime it, put some decoupage paper on it, and these little molds, a super cute Christmas gift. Okay, so this cross, you can see the paint has not quite dried on it. We're going to do it anyway. Let me find the driest letter that I can find as well. Have you used your letter molds a lot, Jennifer? I should have got my heat gun out, guys. That would have made a huge difference, but I did not. All right. And I don't really want to lay these out without them being dry either. Okay, I don't know that I'm going to get this all done. I really want to, but let's start off, because what we're going to do with the little crosses is I'm going to drop you down. Oh, that makes me feel so much better, Jennifer. Even if that's not, even if you're on the big screen. Let's see here. All right. This is so tiny, guys. I'm going to try to hold it up. And what we're going to do is some layering. So I think I want to layer this one with some tea rose here. Guys, this is an older tea rose. I'm just going to, you can see where my paint has separated. There is nothing wrong with that. It's an older tea rose. All you want to do, even if it's super chunky or anything else, all you have to do is stir it up. And it will reconstitute and be ready to go. Perfect. Just get that excess paint off there. And what we're going to do is we're going to get out a little art brush here. I don't want it too large. We can use, no, I want to use that one for something else. All right. That's not. You could use an angle brush, but ideally, I'm going to tell you, ideally a fan brush for this dry brushing is fabulous. I am actually going to use, I'm going to use this little brush. A natural bristle art brush would be best for this, but we can do it with an art brush here. We're just going to take some of this tea rose, and I'm going to wipe all the paint pretty much off the brush. Just about all the paint off the brush. And then we're going to take our little cross here, and all I'm doing is kind of laying it down. You can tell that umber is mixing in a little bit, but it really doesn't matter because this isn't quite dry. It's okay that that umber's mixing in. Can you guys see? I can't even see where I've got this. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do it again. This is happening. It would have been nice and separated had this been dry, but I didn't quite wait that long. I'm just wiping off all the paint off my brush. And then we're just laying it down. I'm going to go a little heavier. Normally, I would layer this in with multiple colors, but I think this is going to be perfect. I want to do the sides as well. So wipe all this paint off. A lot of times you'll have excess paint on your paper towel. You do want to use a lint-free paper towel for this, though. And we're just going to kind of paint around the edges here. Again, I'm just hitting those high points. I could let this dry and I could also go over it with some white. That'll give it even a lot more dimension. But see, isn't that super cute? We've got so much depth and dimension just with those two colors here. You could also, for the letters, I'm gonna actually, and if that will dry up really quick, I'm actually going to go back and add a little bit more on because the paint is wet. It's not quite doing the same thing. So I actually want my letters to be antique gold. All right. So antique gold, this is oil based and this is a gilding wax and it comes in it's available by Dixie Belle in seven different colors. Ugh, couldn't get it out there. Love this stuff, guys. Use it all the time. You can actually heat it up and use it like a paint. But all I'm doing, I've got a natural bristle fan brush here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight. I'm just going to brush it over. This will actually be glued down. And we're just going to go through and highlight this. Oops. Again, I really should have a toothpick out. I almost said a toothbrush out. But this is what it is. I don't want a lot of this umber to show under here. I want this mostly to be the antique gold. But I do like Do you like that darker paint underneath? Because it automatically creates that depth for you. So here we go. That's our little letter here for our J. Let's go ahead and it's mainly just wet on the bottom here. I probably should have put these on parchment paper, which I do frequently, but a lot of times I don't go back to back like this. All right, here we go. I want to make sure I'm in the camera. Goodness. If my plate was dry, I actually just leave them down and I do them all at once here. It'd be so much easier. But since my paint is not dry, I'm having to kind of pick them out. So let's do this. So I have a few places where I touched, it wasn't dry. I'm gonna go over it with the gilding wax. So since this is oil-based, it does take typically about 12 hours to dry. This oil-based wax does, and then you can buff it out. If you want to, it'll make it a little bit shinier, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So far we've got, this is how it's gonna look here. And so much of it is still wet. That's okay. It's mainly the bottom of these little letters that are wet. So we're just going to, you can wear gloves with this. But right now I am just getting this all done. I'm going to do one more little letter here just so you can see kind of how this one word is going to come together, and I'll kind of lay this down, make sure I don't have any paint on the back of it. Kind of show you how this is going to look, guys. And I don't want to take too long. I feel like I've been on here for quite some time. The first part, though, I was just trying to figure out if I was even live. Let's see here. All right, perfect. So here we go. So this is our, and even after I glued these on, if I missed a spot or, you know, because I didn't give it long enough to dry, if I needed to, here we go. So that's it. This is the antique gold, and it's got umber underneath. So let's go ahead and spin around. And you guys, this project is pretty much going to be, this will definitely be done tomorrow. I mean, super easy, super quick little project. I'm going to use some baby wipes. So it's oil-based. However, with the scrubby soap, I can clean this off my brushes. But typically any oil-based product like this, you can use like mineral spirits to clean it. Scrubby soap is amazing, guys. If you haven't tried it, it's awesome to clean your brushes. And among other things, it actually cleans dishes really well. All right, so just got to get that excess off my hands here. And I'm going to go ahead. I am going to do another dry brush, but you can see if you go over this with multiple colors, it just continues to layer, gives you so much depth. And guys, you can use this same technique on furniture, anything else, anything with details. This looks amazing and it's super easy. Doesn't take long at all to do. So like I told you guys, I'm going to make these into magnets. This is still wet too. So I'm just going to try to show you how this is going to look, but I'm definitely not going to finish it because everything's wet. So I've got this magnetic tape. It's called fridge tape. And like I said, I'm actually going to go and paint the back of these and do this a little bit better. But I just kind of want to show you how it's going to look. I'm going to put the Joy on here. And what I'll do is I'll take you off the camera. So it's going to say Count It All Joy. This is going to be, oh, this antique gold is gorgeous. If you do a project with this blue song paper, this antique gold is gorgeous with it. But I'm going to show you in a sec here. All right, guys. So I'm going to kind of just show you what this is going to look like. It'll be it'll be hanging on the wall. And my plan is my granddaughters have quite a few papers and little notes and stuff like that that come home. I'm thinking I'm just going to hang them up here because right now they're all hanging on the wall. But so I think you guys can kind of see. Let me bring you up. You can tell still no wrinkles or anything like that. But it's going to be super cute. I'm excited about this project. And guys, sorry for all the trouble tonight. This really was mainly a test, and I just wanted to do a quick little project on here and kind of see how all the comments and everything else works. But like I said, I will be live on Fridays. I'm also live Wednesday nights at 6 Central Standard Time on my Facebook page, New Creations by Stacey. I'll put a link in here as well if you don't currently follow me there. But we'll be back to working on furniture, and next Friday night we'll have a furniture project as well that we'll be working on. All right, guys, so I don't see any more comments, don't see any questions. But I just want to tell you guys, thank you for coming over here with me on YouTube and hanging out tonight. And, oh, you did not get a notification, Denise. I think I can create... I think I can create events on YouTube as well, so I'm gonna look into that. Right now I created this one on Facebook, and I'll play around with it a little bit. I think Dolores and Denise got a notification, or Jennifer. No, not Denise. Sorry, Denise did not. Jennifer, I think, did. So anyway, I'm going to figure it out. We'll figure it out in the next couple weeks, and hopefully we can get this going. But thanks again, guys. Take care. Have an awesome weekend, and thank you again so much for hanging out. I will post pictures of this on my Facebook page. And I might do a short little video on here too. Why not? A little short. All right, take care, guys. Have an awesome night. Bye-bye. Oh, I don't even know how to end it.